Hello, welcome, and welcome back to Heretic Owl Tarot. My name is Liz, and I will be guiding you on this journey. So, it's April. These messages really are, kind of whenever you see them, but I do tend to do them at least monthly. So this month we're using the Work Your Light Oracle deck, and then we're using the Wandering Moon Tarot for additional information. We'll get an Oracle card for the overall vibe, and then of course pull 6 tarot cards and see what the vibe is. I have my little bowl here of all of the zodiac, all of the human design profile numbers. I'm just gonna pick one. Let's see. 6-3. Let's do it. So, if you've seen these readings before, the human design profile readings, I usually have, some sort of content. I am losing my train of thought left and right over here. I apologize. But I usually have some sort of content to read to you, story time, about your profile. And I do have that. I'm just not going to read it to you. I found an article on the Jovian Archive website that was written by a 2-5 projector, which is cool. And they basically break down each line. It's just a paragraph for each line. So obviously you would want to find the 2 lines in your profile and read about those if you feel called to do so. And I do that because I love hearing other people's perspective. I feel like there's a lot of nuance with human design too. And you pick up nuance by, by hearing other people's perspectives and recognizing that there's more than one way or 2 ways or 5 ways of viewing a thing, right? So for me personally, I love hearing other people's perspectives. Anytime, whatever tarot card deck I'm working on, I always have their little booklet around too, if it came with one. Because again, I know the tarot cards, I know what they mean, but also with tarot, there's a lot of nuance, and it broadens my horizons and my understanding of the cards too. So anyway, that'll be linked in the description below. Of course, you also want to check out your strategy and authority, because your profile is only just one thing in the whole scheme of human design, but your strategy and authority is going to help you determine what experiences are correct for you to enter into, or to enter into experiences, quote unquote, correctly based on your strategy and authority. And then your profile is how you interact with the energy or the experience or the people involved in those things. So definitely get comfy with your strategy and authority too. And this card came out really fast. This is Dance with Your Life. Do something to change your energy. I love that. We're going to get the rest of your cards out first, and then we'll talk about that a bit further. We have the Knight of Swords, Page of Swords, and the King of Cups. We have the King of Pentacles. Wow, the King of Swords and the 8 of Swords. We have 3 kings. The Wanderer, 10 of Wands, Magician. Okay, I'm just gonna move some things around. You know what we're missing? Is fire. Although we have the Ten of Wands behind the Wanderer card. So it's kind of like, I wonder if that's, also too, like what the message behind Dance with Life is about. Do something to change your energy, because dancing has to do with action, right? And it does have to do with transmuting energy. Of course, you don't actually have to dance, but I'm just thinking, like, for myself, like, I use dance as a form of healing for a little while. I would just put on a song and just allow my body to move to it, and I would just be crying. It could be the happiest song, like a song that I love, or, like some techno, whatever that has like a good beat to it. And I would just be like, But, like there was energy that was trapped in my body. And, of course, like crying is a way of transmuting energy, right? Purifying energy in the body. So, I mean, but this could literally be anything, do something to change your energy. Like, it could literally be changing something in your routine, in your day. Like it could be, I was thinking like having breakfast for dinner, or, like something that is not your typical way. And as I was like shuffling too, I was thinking in my head, I'm like, because I believe that the last few times that I've done these readings, yours has been one of the last ones, which you are the last profile in the group, right? We start with 1-3, we end with 6-3, and there is a potential for the 6-3 to be the most wise out of all of the profiles, right? Which is also kind of interesting why there's like 3 kings that came out here. That might even have something to do with, I can't even think of the story of the 3 kings with, like they brought gifts to, like when Jesus was born, and all of that, like not to go in a religious, direction. I was raised Catholic, so I feel like I should know this, but I like deconditioned all that shit, and I can't remember any of it anymore. But I'm just saying that because there's literally 3 kings out here. But, like just having the potential, because the kings are the highest expression of their suit. Right? So, and like I was saying with the 6-3, like that is the, I don't want to say like the highest expression of all of the profiles. It's not like that, but like I said, there is a potential for you to carry and share, like the most wisdom. And that doesn't even necessarily have to be like on a stage in front of people, but just within your family, within your peers, your network, your work, Very interesting. There's a lot of head stuff on here too. Swords are about our mental space. It's how we perceive our realities, what we think about things. There's a truth and honesty aspect to it, right? It's being objective and rational, logical, whatever other cults are out there. It's also ego, because that's generally where we hear our ego is in our minds. And our ego is created by the stories that we attach to experiences, right? Like that's conditioning as far as, in the realm of human design. And a big part of human design is deconditioning. And I feel like this may not be true for absolutely everybody, but I feel like people discover or fall into human design when they are ready to go deeper in their healing. Because that is what human design is. Like, human design will crack your shit open. And, like tell you things about yourself that you already knew to be true. Is just validating. Right? And that's why I chose to go to do these readings based on profile versus type or whatever. And I've thought about also doing videos based on type, and I might do that eventually. I don't know. If you have an opinion on that, let me know in the comments below. But reading about my profile cracked some shit open for me. It was like the first time I had felt like I had truly been seen, and like my experience was understood. So then I was like, I need to know absolutely everything there is to know about human design. And I started taking courses and getting books, and I'm still not all the way there. And I think it's like my open heart center, or my first line that tells me that I'm not proficient enough. But anyway, why did we go on that journey? Oh, because there's a ton of swords out here. Let's just start, of course, right at the beginning. So we start with the Knight of Swords. The Knight of Swords is the fastest moving knight in the deck. They can be a bit impulsive, a bit arrogant, maybe even like a bit cocky. I mean, the Page of Swords can be too, but it's like, you get this new idea, this new inspiration, it's like a paradigm shift too. And you start either like communicating that new idea or that new perspective, and also even like communicating some level of truth, because it's also about, like communicating these new ideas, communicating, like what we're thinking, what we've learned, right? That's very much a 6-3. The first 30 years of your life, you live as a 3-3, because that sixth line is a third line for the first 30 years. That can be chaotic, it could be a bit dismantling is a word that's like coming to mind. It doesn't have to be for everybody, but sixth lines generally have a harder time in the first 30 years of life, because the third line is all about trial and error. Like you literally have to do something in order to learn your lesson. Like, you're not going to be told that, the stove is hot and just accept that, right? Like you're like, no, I have to touch the stove. And then you're like, oh shit, that's hot. And your parents like, yeah, I just said that. And you're like, well, I mean, I had to touch it myself, in order for it to be true. And with it paired with the King of Pentacles, again, right? Kings are the highest expression of their suit. Pentacles have to do with money, how we get it, how we spend it, how we save it, how we invest it. It's our time, our physical body, it's our home, the possessions that we have, literally anything that you can touch, anything that has value, monetary value. So the king would be somebody who is successful. They understand business, right? Like there's a fundamental understanding of your finances. There is also a leadership quality that comes with kings. So people could be looking to you for new ideas. There could be somebody coming to you with a new idea. You could be, almost kind of searching, and that could be why this do something to change your energy is because that's basically what this is to me. The Knight of Swords is like change your mind, change your life. Like you could just be almost kind of bored with like the day to day. Maybe you have reached a level of, success and comfort in some capacity of your life. It doesn't necessarily have to do with work. It certainly can. This could be a promotion based on the ideas or the way that you communicate. And then the Page of Swords is like, it's that new idea, that new spark of inspiration. And the Knight of Swords is like you putting it into practice. So it's interesting that, these come out kind of like reversed, since, like I said, obviously the Page comes before the Knight. But there is something new with the Page of Swords. I mean, if you are switching gears in some capacity, like if this is just confirmation of something that you've already been thinking about doing, then this would be some level of communicating this new idea. And especially with this vine around the sword, like, this, again, it could be something that has been festering for a little while, something that's been in the works for a little while. It could even be something that you have been searching for a little while. It's almost like, too, whatever this is for you, this could be, like a brand new, just, something clicks in your head. Like connections are made, whatever, right? That gets you to the King of Pentacles. And again, I mean, that could have to do with your work. It could have to do with your health. It could have to do with even, some sort of observation about the people around you, or even about the way that your job is done, something along those lines. And it like uncovers this Page of Swords, because I'm like staring at these vines around here, and it's almost kind of like I'm just getting this feeling, or this like story, that there's something uncovered because of whatever this is over here for you. It could be a new way of doing things, or just, again, right, a new perspective. But it could even be some uncovering some level of truth. Because I'm just thinking, like, if you like leave a sword in the woods, or, wherever for so long, then it's like the elements are just going to grow around it. Right? So then, like, when you just kind of stumble upon it, it would be wrapped around, or, like the vines would be like wrapped around it. Just kind of interesting. I don't know. And then we have the King of Swords here. And again, right, kings, highest expression of the suit, swords, our mind, our thoughts. This could be unpacking some ego stuff, some inner child work. But the King of Swords, there's a discipline of thought. There's a clarity of thought. They are able to clearly communicate their position, clearly communicate what they're thinking. Again, like being very logical, very objective. And again, right, I mean, we go from this progression of the Page to the King. So whatever, is like happening in this Page of Swords, it's bringing this massive level of clarity. It's like, okay, so, and I'm going to keep saying this stuff until like it stops, like just kind of poking me in my head. But, so we have this Page of Swords with the vines around it, and then the Knight of Swords with a feather, but it's almost kind of like, brushing off, cleaning up the sword, right? Because there's no vines on the sword over here. And then the sword is going through the crown here. So it's something, it was like this missing piece of the puzzle here. And it had something, that's, especially with these two kings being next to each other, down here at least, it could even just be like the reason why you're doing what you're doing, whatever you are doing. It doesn't necessarily have to be like this big, huge, like uncovering some big scandal or something. It can be, but it doesn't have to be. And then the King of Cups. Cups having to do with our emotions, heart chakra, it's love, it's how we feel about things. What is our relationship to love? And that doesn't have to be romantic. It can be, of course. It doesn't have to be. This doesn't even necessarily feel like, relationship type reading. But of course, everything affects everything else in our lives, right? But, it's like your relationship to, do you love what you're doing? Do you love the message that you're putting out there? How do you feel? And there's also, a compassionate, empathic vibe to the King of Cups too. Very connected with their intuition. This really just feels like, I don't know, I'm like getting this feeling that this really just feels like everything that you have tried to do, you have accomplished, and you have done it well. It's like you have mastered the thing, every single thing that you have tried to do. And maybe that's also too like why this do something to change your energy card came out. And I just kind of want to like read, what is it? Dance. I was trying to find do something to change your energy. It says, life is always moving. If you resist this ever-changing flow, your energy will become stagnant and you will fall out of flow with universe. The universe has a mysterious, intelligent force, a natural rhythmic beat, which governs all of life. One of the best ways to shift your energy, frequency, and vibration is to put on some music and dance along with it. When we dance unrestrained, our spirit takes over, and with each new bop, sway, and kick, we are rocked back into harmony with the rest of life. Get unstuck by doing something that shifts your vibration. Put on some music, dance unrestrained, and fall into the frequency of life. In doing so, your body will begin to learn how to move by your intuition, which is connected to the systemic beat. If dancing isn't your thing, then simply do something that you would not usually do to shift the energy. You cannot resolve a problem with the same mind that created it, and you cannot attract a different experience without changing your energy first. It's time to shift things up and find a way. That's exactly that's exactly what I was feeling. I'm glad that I picked that book up and read it, because then, like with the Eight of Swords here, why did I pick this book up? Oh, I want to read with the Eight of Swords. Eight of Swords talks about a self-inflicted mind prison. This is us keeping ourselves stuck. Like it's, thinking that there isn't a way out, thinking that there's not something better, like we could easily with our other hand take out these swords that are in our fingers, but instead we're just going to complain about them, right? We're just going to complain about how much it hurts, but not do anything about it. And maybe, like you, again, right? I mean, I was talking at the beginning about your strategy and authority. Maybe you are in your not self theme, and maybe there's some level of distrust of your intuition going on, because you're like, here I am thinking that I am taking action. I'm doing things based on my intuition, but then, I do it and I might do it well, but it's not it's not hitting the way that I think it should. So then there's this over here that's like, I just kind of don't really trust like what my intuition is. So then I feel stuck, which is why this card comes out about switching up your energy. So again, right? I mean, not to like keep repeating myself, but check out your strategy and authority. Experiment with that, because it is also the big thing about human design is experimenting. And that's why reading different perspectives from different people help, broaden your understanding on a subject. So definitely. And then the Wanderer, I wanted to read that. It says the first of 3 cards unique to this deck. Here, you can stare at this. I will read. This card represents I am presence, the multidimensional part of our consciousness. It is your past, present, future self combining to make up the sum of you as a spiritual being in your physical body. It is your connection to source energy and the ability to manifest. This card is asking you to connect with your I am presence, to interact with others from a place of love, to be mindful and appreciate the moments that you find yourself in. It's a reminder of the importance of being present in everyday life. And then it says remaining grounded, being present, appreciating, remaining in your heart space, integration of the self-consciousness. Exactly. Oh my gosh. Exactly. I also love how they're sitting on top of a moon. And we have the King of Moons over here. Not that these cards are like related in any sense, but I just find it interesting that they're sitting on top of a moon looking at another moon. Why not? Right? We have the 10 of Wands, feeling burdened, feeling overwhelmed. Tens are a completion. Wands are fire, right? It's our motivation. Why are we doing the things that we're doing? What are the things that we're doing? It's creativity, passion, communication too, which is a lot in the Swords card. But it's, how are you communicating your passions? How are you communicating your creativity? This is also information, because by trying things, as you know, right? By trying things, you pick up information. You discover what works, what doesn't work. What do you like? What don't you like? What stays? What goes? And I always see, like with the 10 of Wands, it's like all of those experiences that you picked up along the way, it could feel a bit like a burden. It's like that feeling the world on your back type of feel. But again, 10s are completion. So if you have been feeling overwhelmed, there is an opportunity here to release that burden. And we have the Magician behind the 10 of Pentacles, or 10 of 10 of Wands. The Magician is a new beginning. It's a number 1, so it's a card that comes right after the Fool card. They have all of the elements here. They have everything that they need in order to start something new now. And a lot of us get stuck in this energy of, I'm already overwhelmed. I don't have enough of whatever, right? I don't have enough money. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough just emotional energy, whatever it is. And the Magician, when the Magician shows up, it's literally that read of, no, you have exactly what you need. And whatever you would end up needing will show up for you exactly when it's needed. We have the 5 of Wands, which is interesting because that's half of 10, right? Each one of these hands have 5 wands in them. But the 5 of Wands talks about conflict, competition. This is training. I always think of Mulan. When they're in warrior training, it starts out a bit of a shit show, right? But then they get it together and they are able to go into battle and be successful, which is the 6 of Wands. But the 5 is the training to get you there. And yeah, it can feel a bit like an ass beating at first, right? And especially if there are other people competing in this, if it's a competitive field or whatever the thought, that's interesting. Whatever the case may be, it's an energy to allow yourself to move through, though. 5s are those transitionary energies. This is very much part of the process to get you to the next step, right? So don't like pitch a tent and get stuck in this energy, but like allow yourself to move through it. And then we have the Nine of Pentacles, which is financial independence, individual success. The Three of Pentacles is working with other people. So, yeah, I mean, all very good stuff. I'm I'm trying to get better at like these like self plugs, and I don't know, I have a completely open like heart or ego center, and I don't know if that has something to do with it. Anyway, I would love if you haven't done so already, if you're still here, thank you. If you're still here at this point in the reading, thank you so much. You win a prize by being my favorite. But if you haven't liked the video already, I would love if you do so. Like or dislike, either way, it's engagement and I appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Leave a comment, even if it's just a few emojis. I love emojis. But my intention is to grow this space, grow this community, and of course, I cannot do that without you. So if you have the energy available to help me with that, I appreciate it. But I'm going to leave it there. And I thank you so much for allowing me to read your cards. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.